start. Promise to try to end by 12:30, so we are ready for lunch, and hopefully some insights. We are still fixing also technology because I hassled everything up as this is a live demo and this is total different setup. So that's what IT is normally doing, disruption. And so we start with some topological wise insights and then have also a live demo, and hopefully this works out, and that's why you are here. And I won't use the words which I not used in the keynote, probably. So for those of you who attended, still learning. Good. But let's start, and the people coming then entering the show also, very warm welcome to that session. I really appreciate on that second day after that great party and after already keynotes and all these things that you are still here and you are interested obviously in the topic, and perhaps trust in that person that he or myself can bring something to you from inside SAP. When we talk about Metaverse, it's nothing like a product. I want to pitch you the future, what SAP is currently developing. I'm not from the development unit at SAP, I'm from the internal IT. And we use the Metaverse to enable our colleagues, to inspire business, to evaluate use cases, even find business cases, and be prepared for that, what the future brings. And to start it right up, let's have a look a little bit inside some of the aspects, I have a new word to learn, of the aspects the Metaverse is, because it is everything and nothing. And if we now ask 10 people here in the room, we will probably get 11 answers what the Metaverse actually is. We did that exercise at SAP and concentrate and focus on a definition that is helpful for us. First of all, Metaverse is a persistent environment, something that you really, that is there somewhere, like the data are on the cloud. The Metaverse is somewhere. It's a room, it's an area, it's a space. And if you change something there, and if you visit there and come the next time, the things are still at the new place, or someone changed something, or you meet people there. So that is a real different space somewhere. So that is the first thing. It's a persistent, obviously digital world. So it is completely through technology and not existing in reality. And it's a place to collaborate, to be together. It's a multiplayer, let's say, environment. And that is for us a very great space to explore and innovate and try out what to do. And we look into different realms of the Metaverse. So obviously there's that consumer aspect where you really use the Metaverse to be together, to collaborate, to play games, to enjoy, to make design thinking, whatever. So a consumer perspective on the Metaverse, perhaps also to sell something there, to enjoy your time. We have also that focus of the Metaverse then in a business purpose. So when we look into that, for example, we have in the first part, we will see later topics like onboarding scenarios for employees. Here we are now talking about retail stores, and that's a perfect example how to boost up real new business trends with that technology, how that could look like. And then a special focus there on the industrial Metaverse. And the industrial Metaverse really makes sense because there is currently the most concrete confident in the market that we see that there is a breakthrough already given and a worthwhile business case available to infuse industrial production with Metaverse scenarios. And therefore, we also focus to bring that very broadly to you as an example and to our employees. So before I now jump into, let's look why we are also working extensively on the industrial Metaverse. Let's look at some, I missed that out. Obviously, that's also everything with that technology, and we are incorporating all these kind of technologies and bring them together. Now, blockchain, AI, and machine learning scenarios are embedded also easily in Metaverse scenarios because there you can really try out and play around. You not destroying any process or any real retail store, whatever. And yes, we are talking about AI and VR, so augmented and virtual reality, so all different kind to access this Metaverse in an immersive way, but also with Web3 in a way that can be accessed more broadly. And that's also what I brought today, because I'm not here with glasses anymore. Most of us do not have these glasses available on a large scale, these Googles, these VR Googles. So let's first talk on and bring away some of the myths currently existing around the metaverse. And there's one, we do not know what the metaverse is, and that is, yes, a funny introduction to talks, but it's not true anymore. So there is really a huge effort, and also at SAP, to define the value of the metaverse for a concrete scenario, like I did at the beginning, under circumstances. So a lot of companies are doing that currently, and there is a good understanding what the metaverse is, technology-wise and purpose-wise. So let's get rid of that first myth. And then, at the same time, the metaverse is dead. This is not coming anymore, and makes trillions in 2030. So both is always at the same time in the discussion. And that contradiction can be really now sorted out. Yes, it won't be trillions perhaps, but we are definitely on a different path than in the last couple of years. And that also leads me to the third myth, that since 40 years or whatever, this technology has been pitched. Everybody says, in 5 to 10 years, we have the breakthrough, and that constantly over the last 40 years. And that leads to thinking that goes on. That's like what you ever did, this will also be in the future. And we have certain proof points that this is not the case, and this is a myth anymore, still, that this will go on also. It is the right time in our perspective to really evaluate that technology. Fourth, the words about the metaverse are much more profitable. Talking about that, marketing with the metaverse is more profitable than the metaverse itself, and I will destroy that myth with the next slide, looking at the industrial metaverse. The open metaverse is built of walled gardens. That is also not true, because the intention of the metaverse is really that additional open space that can be freely accessed. It's a democratized area where all people can enter, and so get rid also of that. Number 6, nobody knows how to come from a strategy to realization. Also that is by far not true anymore. We have a clear strategy also at SAP how to drive this technology into action, and that what we share today hopefully gives you an understanding what is possible today. It's not that super scientific, but it could be an insight what a company like SAP is doing internally. And then the 7th one, yeah, you can forget that. He is the most prominent one talking about that, also grabbing the name for the company, but the metaverse is not Mark Zuckerberg. And also it is not the internet. It is a new thing, and we have to understand it. And as I said also in the keynote, it's about trying that out yourself. Whenever you have the possibility somewhere to enter such a metaverse environment, even immersive with some Googles, do that to be in the discussion and enable your companies that they can do it in their working time. Enable them. And we found a way also at SAP to make that in a safe and secure way, these devices, and we have some rooms you can experiment there. So just to get more inspiration. So as promised, here are some top trends which we took from Deloitte together from our partner here, and they worked on the real facts currently around the industrial metaverse. And that's a good time just to make a photo. I won't read for you all these facts and so on. They're not my facts, but that's a good reason. They have a deep analysis about the market. And what we saw this year in Germany on the Hannover Messe, which is a proof point for the industry, that was really a breakthrough. And throughout the whole fair and event, that was a topic. The industrial metaverse is definitely to come or already there, and getting data from machinery directly into an ERP. That is what we are proof pointing at SAP in our factory. We have an own factory in Walldorf, and of course we put that factory also in the metaverse, doing there the same stuff that we are doing there, so we can bring it now here on stage. You have not the opportunity currently to visit the pop-up factory in Walldorf all the day. Where are we all talking about this at SAP? Throughout all end-to-end processes. And we are evaluating what is in there, creating scenarios. So recruit to retire, HR perspective, onboarding with people, inspiring, infused through the pandemic situation. You are not able to come to the office, but then also in a large-scale company, it's not always possible to visit headquarters, to inhale the culture of a company. So therefore, to maximize this productivity, we can look into these use cases. Source to pay, then everything around finance data, infusing our digital boardroom in an immersive way offers really new opportunities I will share with you in a second. And then lead to cash, everything around really this commercialization with factory store and bringing customers really into new dimension offers opportunities. And then we have designed to operate everything around our industrial metaverse with having their access to all machinery, all data, and all operations running there. So we will see soon in a second a museum-like history tour, also onboarding scenario in our showroom. We are also presented a second before. The virtual boardroom dealing with data. Then we will see the smart store, which you also have been pitched yesterday in a keynote, walking around there, grabbing things while your car is charging. We are now visiting this smart store, also retail store, fashion. You can think in every direction to adopt that. And then, last but not least, also look into SAP Factory and the Metaverse. And now it's time for the live demo. And now the magic will happen with changing and unplugging, plugging here and so on. And I'm starting already the Metaverse while you're doing that. So hopefully we are in there in a second. And as I have no goggles, no glasses for me, I brought this nice gaming controller. And with that, we can walk around there in the internet, and hopefully it will work. And now we try to switch the cable. Yes, amazing. And I already adapt a parameter so you not get too sick. Cable. It's all live. Normally nothing happens if we do it live. But it's too boring to just show a video, right? So the team encouraged me, just take that with you. It will happen somehow. Let's see what happened. Oh, we are online. Thank you guys. Wonderful. Yeah, that's a round of applause. Yes, perfect. First, let's change the rotation speed. So you don't have to. So we are not getting sick. Apply. So that is better. Yes, sure. Okay, that's much better. And then let's look around a little bit. So we start in building number 1, where everything starts at Waldorf in headquarters, looking out to the street. We start designing the metaverse like a physical representation of our campus, just to start somewhere and put all the use cases in different buildings. And not to walk around too far, we also installed some warp areas where you can beam me up, Scotty. And this is all done mainly by students from university studying gamification things with Unreal, and don't ask me about technology. So I'm just impressed you guys do these things in a couple of weeks, what you're seeing here. So let's assume they get their badge here and then onboarding process. Let's also give them a nice avatar. Normally, if we have internet, we can now choose here from an avatar in the internet, but there is a fail URL. So that's also all connected to the real world in terms of SAP systems, as well as internet and other accessibility. That is just another location. Then let's start our tour, perhaps talking about some benefits. So if you are a new employee at SAP, you probably are, this is the wrong one. I jumped wrongly. So don't look. We have to go back. That is why it's live, yes. I was not accurate enough. So now we are jumping back to the starting location. Yes, and now I want to start with the benefits and not with the factory. So I have to go this corner here. Yes, and the students try to bring in everything what they are aware of, what they wish benefits could be. So I didn't see the pool table here anywhere at SAP, but definitely we talk about a coffee corner culture, can interact with the colleagues there, perhaps also look on the office setup, what will be your equipment, your flex desk, where you will work, and then learn something about also some introduction and some gym activities. But why not also talking about your next company car and already order that perhaps, because that's all, for all employees, we have company cars, of course. So that is perhaps not the sustainability discussion here. Let's take this car. This is not a company car of SAP, but the students thought it would be a great idea, and then I can have new colors there and work with them and just order it right away. So that is just pitching these ideas. And why not also give them an introduction to our, I'm not too used to walk around here, to give them an introduction about our history. And for that, let's enter our first building we ever had at SAP, where everything starts 50 years ago, WDF8. This is the number. Don't ask me about the numbers. That is a mystery for itself, why number 1 is headquarters and 8 is the first building. So here everything starts, and Dietmar Hopp and Hasso Plattner, they all sit in that building, and you can really see and look outside how this environment is in reality. And these first working places were equipped with history equipment, and perhaps you make them function also in the next version, and then have all these normally boring insights that you're not clicking through. You can experience now history by walking through the building and the equipment getting more modern, and some things happen 1981, and here is like we go to the stock exchange first time, and walk through the building really and explore more what's to go. This is the board in 1991. So I think this is Dietmar Hopp and Hasso, and so probably you do not recognize too much of these guys in these days. We also see in the back there are other facilities we implemented in the Metaverse, but here are more modern workplaces going now to 2004 with our CEO in that time, Henning Kagemann, talking about this vision in these days, and then more modern workplaces as you walk through this interactive museum and explore the surrounding here. So that could be a pitch just for our onboarding, our talent acquisition. Do that at the university to introduce history of SAP, which is, in my perspective, more immersive and interesting than just giving them a PDF or something. And then let's jump into that showroom we also saw in the keynote, where we brought together all these stories and insights of IT, which is just not too difficult to bring any facility into the Metaverse, but just taking the drawings from the architects. That is all available. Think of looking outside. We are just rebuilding WDF1, and all employees always have the possibility to already walk through the new building as it will be. That is opportunities that are easily can be realized. And now let's look in more examples. What is hidden here? There we have that, the onboarding, and we have some more Easter eggs here. This is the smart store. So what you saw yesterday in the keynote, this is now WDF 49. So we are heading up with the numbers of the buildings. And here, really our colleagues from the experience centers that you can visit worldwide installed in Walldorf a real retail store, a supermarket of the future, where a lot of technology is embedded. And when you're now here with the glasses and your hands, you can really grab and make the same process steps that you do physically on site. And when you do the checkout process and the story and the S4HANA system in the background, it's the same system. So we can extend now the storytelling, the usage of that shop floor, really also here to, no, I grab that, no, I throw it away. They're working with these things with that controller is not that easy than you are now really immersed. So I would have to train that. And now I'm making a lot of destruction here because someone has then to rebuild that and clean up the mess after me. But believe me, it's all working like this, and you can now do even more. We talk, when you visit that retail store, we talk about systems installed, cameras, looking at the shelves, looking where the customers go through with heat maps. Now with a click, we can include these heat maps in that environment. That is the power of a virtual environment, that you now can really immerse that technology and visualize data in a different way and make a different experience. So really to see where certain systems give output data. But it's even more possible. You can think of translating that retail store, and it's very expensive to build that, but we can rebuild it very easily into a fashion store. So, ba-bam, now we are in a fashion store. The same building, not existing in reality, but now you are able to grab here some shoes and put them, I am able, put them on the table here. How long do we have? Yes, and now we make it, which color? Green? Yes, green is a nice color. And then we pick it, and we pick it, and then we pick it. No. And then we, yes, and then we pick it and put it over here on that shelf. As I said, it's much more easy if you're really there. And then you place it here. You get, this is very dark, but you get recommendation which other things could match. So that are no inspiration for companies we are working with, how they can really enhance their offerings in a broad scale. Or bring that in a new industry like a pharmacy store. And by just replacing everything, now we have a medical environment with labor and things we can do. So there's endless possibilities, and we want to pitch them, and hopefully you also get a first insight. Let's jump back to the showroom, not losing too much time, as we are now entering the next scenario. Let's talk about data and our digital boardroom and evolve that to a virtual boardroom one. So that is something, I think here is a case, hidden, a scenario case, where we extend a normal boardroom situation and place something here on the shelf. The colleague said this is really brand new. I've tested it last night and hopefully it works. Something has to be placed here. And then a magic. Continue. Okay, how impressive is that? On a scale to 1 to 10. Here's something. I have to place this one on this shelf. This here? No. Here? Okay. Last try. No? Okay. Normally what happens now, the Signavio process evolves in the room. You can imagine that. You have a good imagination. And let's jump to the next scenario. That was impressive, really. I have to tell the boys. So, here we are now going not in the boardroom, but in the factory. That is really existing in Walldorf. We build a factory running fully driven by our products, S/4HANA in the background, with machinery, with process steps, with we implemented design to operate and design to consume. Design to consume is about producing some liquids with a machinery and all the process steps, and design to operate is to build up a valve and to monitor the whole process, and that can be live experience by customers, heavily booked here, to see how our software works in action together with all the other process steps. So this factory has been rebuilt one-to-one, so it's exactly like you now can visit in Walldorf. And you can also start then here, for example, the design to operate process. You get now interactive, some advices to for that experience. Now your job is on station 1 to prefabrication. So your job is to bring now the first step of this component on top of this valve and then pick this screwdriver. As I said, it's much more easier if you have your hands there with you in virtual reality. But I make it more sensitive the next presentation. So the next one will be better. And so I can grab this screwdriver and the right ones. And in the background, real SAP systems monitor the tension you put on every screw, the time, the product number. And normally you start entering the order from the customer in the real SAP system, live there. Also, you can do that in the Metaverse. And then you see how this transaction evolves through the system and how this information from